How are
Hi.
you?
Hi, good. How are you?
All right, been a long day, so this is actually relaxing. I had to take my dog to the vet. It's
Oh,
a
okay.
whole thing.
Relax.
Yeah. Well, he's 12. They're old and they don't know what's going on, and then he acts like he had the hard day,
Oh,
and like,
no. Okay, yes. I know those types of dogs.
yeah, he's a big doofus. He's
Yeah,
asleep.
ours
We'll
is
hear
like
him
that.
snoring in a minute. Um, it actually didn't occur to me until I was sitting here waiting to do this because I posted my website as a shot of the day and I put up Eternal Sunshine because I'm talking to Kate. I should put up and I went cinematography by holy shit. Like it makes sense now because I was wondering about, you are an actress who has choices. You have the ability to say no. It's a real, arrow that not everyone has, and why you say yes to something matters. And I would imagine Ellen being, directing this was a huge part of it. I would imagine being comfortable with your director is always important, but being able to support someone transitioning into that field and sort of pursuing it is when you have the ability to do it, it must feel really good.
Yeah, well, as a hands-on producer of this film, I started the process of putting the film
Ah,
together in 2015, and I developed the script with Marion Hume and Liz Hanna, two of our co-writers, and they and the three of us together really had to hone in exactly what section of Lee's life we wanted to focus on in telling this story, this decade of her life in her 30s and 40s when, as a middle aged, flawed woman, she went to war. This was really the time in her life when Lee became Lee, the true Lee. Forget the male gaze part, the ex lover of Man Ray, the former muse, all this stuff, these labels that had been put on her. And 5 years into the development process, around 2020, it was time to start thinking about directors. And I knew it wouldn't have made sense at all to me morally, making a film about such an iconic, important woman. It wouldn't have
yeah.
made sense to have had a man. And Ellen and I, of course, as you said, we had been on Eternal Sunshine together and had remained friends. And she had started directing some television at that point. And I thought, okay, this is absolutely the right time to give her that shot, to step in, to cross over, to direct her first feature. And so we started talking about it then. And it became an intense collaboration between her, myself, and Kate Solomon, my producing partner. Um, and yeah, so it was Ellen Kuras who directed this film.
And to have that power and to be in a position where you can say it has to be a woman who directs it, I know the right person. Like to be able to do that is, there's so much that obviously when you're successful in this business, there's things that come with it. You have awards on your mantle, you can pay your rent. Like there's things that you're just like, I can check these boxes, this is good. But when you can do that and go, I can do something good for someone I know, good for the project I'm making, good for the industry I'm in. It must have it. I'm sure everyone just has that extra spring in their step when you finally get to make it because you're saying that the process takes so long. There's so many no's that happen before you get a yes. So to get in a position to be making the film the way you want,
Yeah,
narrowing it down, it
it has
must just
been, yeah, it really has been extraordinary, actually. And it's been extraordinary because I've been able to really take time and really care and really make decisions that not just matter to other people, but matter in terms of how those decisions are made and make a huge difference to the fabric of the film, to the energy of the film, to the fabric of the film, and how it's made, and the intention with which we go into these things. I want to live my life making
yeah.
sure that people feel supported in this industry, particularly women. And when one is in a position to be able to actually give someone that opportunity or make that change, help them make that shift, and contribute to a movement that is the great shift within the film industry of seeing more female producers and female directors. It's a privilege, and it feels also a little bit now to me like a duty to play these kinds of roles, to tell these kinds of stories about important, significant women of history who did things that really started a change and a shift in culture. It started a change in how female war correspondents were given the space to sit at that table where they had rightfully earned their place.
Right.
And we wanted to make the film in the same vein as Lee really lived her life, with intention, with grace and compassion. And that's what we did.
Oh yeah, and I think when you talk about it as like a duty, it makes perfect sense because you start out in the industry and you just want a job, right? That's the goal. If I can get a job and I can do it, this is amazing. Then if it can be my job, I don't need another job. I can be in a lead role. Someone wants to make a movie around me. I can produce the movie. There's all these things that when you do it, I think, yeah, naturally, especially if you're a good person, you start thinking about, well, now people have done things for me. I'm finally in a position where I can do things for people. I can have a say in how this industry is.
Mm.
It makes perfect sense. And like, why wouldn't you want to do that? Why wouldn't you want to leave something a better place than you found it? It's already the best job in the world. Like nobody should not be happy to do this job.
Yeah.
If I make it better and I can make it more inclusive, I've done a good deed, and
Well, that's
and
it. That's
yeah.
it. And inclusivity means giving equal opportunity to all. And it does make a huge difference to be able to be part of those, not just big decisions, but integral decisions that can create a shift. And I have honestly, it's been such a proper labor of love, passion project for me. I'm now at the point where it's 9 years since I first started putting the film together. And honestly, I just have been overwhelmed by the level of support that we've had, also from our actors, our incredible actors. I mean, I look at Andrea Riseborough and Marion Cotillard, who said yes right away, who stayed with us. They didn't go off and take other jobs. They kept checking in to make sure we were still going, all these kinds of things. And they're showing up for us now in talking about the film. And that really speaks to, I think, the experience that we had making it and what we were able to do in coming together to tell the story.
Oh, 100%. And especially with longevity in the industry, you know what you don't want to do. I think as
Yeah.
much as you do want to do. And when you talked about developing the script, I'm sure at this point most of the things that come in are things that you don't want to do. You've done them already. They don't speak to you. They're taking too big a swing at something. They're not taking a big enough swing. So again, to be able to sit there with the team and be like, how do we find a way to make this not just a movie we want to make, but a movie people will want to see, a movie people will want to act in, a movie people want to work on.
Well, that's it. I wanted to make a film that hopefully redefines who Lee Miller was and what she stood for, what she did, and the legacy that she left behind. Because if I were to Google her when I first started working on the film, it referred to her in these strange kind of infantilizing ways. She was the ex-lover, ex-muse, etc., etc. But to lift her out of that male gaze and to tell her story of really her passion, her determination, her courage, her truth, and what she did in going alone as a flawed middle-aged woman into Europe to the front line to bear witness. It's unbelievably inspirational, and my hope when we set out to make the film is that people who perhaps haven't heard of Lee Miller and haven't got a clue who she was will meet her this way for the first time. And that, to me, was the most important thing.
100%, as opposed to prior when it was playing at Toronto last year. Yeah, you Google and you get very weird reactions, and it was like, it's imagining like Googling you and someone's like, co-star of Leonardo DiCaprio. You're like, well, factually sure, but like I feel like that's not telling you anything about me or why someone looked me up to find information about me, not my relationship to someone else, my working with someone else. I think this is in a way beyond being a good film. It means something for legacy. It's so important. You should be so incredibly proud of it. Not just that it
Thank
turned
you.
out well, that that got done in the first place.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course, and thank you for doing this. Congrats again. I love seeing people I'm fond of get to take a lead role in developing their own projects. It's amazing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for doing this.